WCRS Studios in Greenwood, South Carolina, this is Meet Me at the Diner with your host, Ann Eller.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We have... That's right. We're right here on WCRS this afternoon. Hey, I'm Ann Eller, and we have a great show for you here this afternoon. You know, when you have this beautiful weather like this, you think about getting outside and planting, don't you? And I think it's time that we actually can plant now. I think the frost and the low temperatures are gone. So what better time than to have Stephanie Turner here with the Greenwood County Extension Office with Clemson University. And she brought along a co-patriot here today. Missy Lowery is going to join us. She is a Lakeland's Master Gardener, and she is also the Lakeland's Master Gardener of the Year and the plant sale coordinator. Just in case you're wondering, there's a heck of a lot going on this weekend, and it's plants, and more plants. So how y'all doing this afternoon?
Doing great.
Doing great. That's good. You need to be a little closer to those mics there, ladies.
Oh, right.
Stephanie, you know, this is the time of the year you just live for, right?
Oh, yeah, or just live through.
Live through?
Just make it through.
Make it through.
Yeah, we have lots of calls in the office, lots of activity, programming going on, so yeah.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that we always want to mention before we even really get started is it's always a good idea to do that soil sample, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so make sure you get in touch with us, visit HGIC. They'll show you exactly how to do the soil sample, or you can call us. And it's only $6. That's $6 you can spend on your garden.
And what does a soil sample actually do for people?
It'll report back their pH, which is one of the most important indicators for your soil, and that determines the availability of the nutrients in the soil.
Sure.
Because a lot of times our native soil here will need some lime to raise that pH. And so then all the other nutrients will be more available to your plant. It also tell you potassium and phosphorus and some other nutrient levels as well.
Well, I think, you know, sometimes people just think if you keep doing the same thing over and over, it's good. So every year you add lime, right?
Yeah, and that might not hurt, but every year if you add phosphorus and potassium, you just keep throwing that 10, 10, 10, you can accumulate that nutrient in the soil, and then it kind of causes a traffic jam for all the other nutrients.
Right.
So we don't want to overdo anything, so soil test is a good way to check that out.
So that's why I just wanted to say that because, and you can drop it off right over there at Clemson at the office over there.
Yeah, we're at 105 North University Street, which is off of Cambridge there. We have a drop box. If you come by before or after hours, you can drop your soil. Just put your name and phone number on it, and we'll take care of you later. Don't leave money in our drop box. Or you can come in during office hours, 8:30 to 5 p.m., and we'll take care of you.
Right. You know, I think that Clemson Extension has just been such a boon, and people are really starting, I think, to use it more, aren't they, Stephanie?
Yes, we've been getting more soil samples. We've been getting irrigation water samples because we will test your pond or well water if you want to irrigate plants with it. Mm-hmm. We've been getting a lot of plant samples, people that have, you know, problems in the lawn or plants that are declining, and we can send those off to the lab to get it analyzed for what kind of disease they might be having or issues. And so, yeah, we get a lot of traffic that way. And then just, you know, how do I do this, and what do I do with this, and how do I prune this, and
yeah, so it's really great. But Missy, you are a master gardener. Now, how did you get started in this program? What made you decide? Because it's a lot of work to be a master gardener.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
Well, I was in corporate America, and I loved being in corporate America, and I loved the travel, and I loved all of the elements that went into, you know, being the boss, as it were. And then I retired, and I thought, okay, I want to do something I want to do instead. And I looked around. I have a very big yard, and I looked around and I thought, this doesn't look like anybody's looked at it for the last 20 years, and it's probably true.
Right.
So the first place I started was Clemson. My father was a graduate of Clemson. He was a agricultural engineer and a real specialist in water systems, and always said, if you need to find out something about upstate South Carolina, and I was born in upstate South Carolina, but I'd spent 24 years in California, which is entirely different.
Oh, yeah.
So I needed to really go back to basics in a lot of ways. I mean, there are so many things that are unique and different about our growing systems here. And it seemed like it was an ideal way to get that. I mean, where you just do nothing but concentrate. The book is about, 3.5 inches thick? But it was a great way to just let everything else go and concentrate on how it is that you can do a better job of the resources that you're going to be bringing into your environment. And also that plays into the other thing I would love to do, and that is teach kids. I love teaching kids all about plants and all about growth.
And they're always so enthusiastic
Oh
at a
my
young
gosh,
age, aren't they?
they are. In fact, we're getting ready for Earth Day. Earth Day comes up on the 22nd of April. And just understand that we're turning it over to them. And so that they have a big
That's scary.
responsibility. So that was in both ways. I mean, to be a master gardener is one thing. It's something that you have to learn, and you have to make a lot of mistakes and kill a lot of plants before you get to the
Best
point.
way to learn.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Part of the goal, kill a lot of plants.
That's
I like
right.
It. I like
know it. Every master gardener I know says, yes, if I hadn't killed it that time, then I never would have understood why I shouldn't do it that way.
Right, yeah. Well, we always think we know the answers, right?
Oh, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I know. The other side to it, though, too, is that it was just an opportunity to get together with other people who love plants, who love gardening, who love design.
And you moved back to this area. So,
I did.
That was a good way to meet people,
It was, absolutely. Well, this was some years after we had moved back. But it was, what I've discovered recently is that there are a lot of new people moving into Greenwood. And they come from places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Arizona.
And they don't know that we have this long growing
they
season.
don't.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of people who have come up to me and said, my neighbor tells me I shouldn't have planted that then. Is that right? And I have to go, well, I don't know what it is, and I don't know where you planted it. But beyond that, they may be right.
Yeah.
So that's the other side to it, is a real in-depth for our location.
Right.
I'm not learning about things in general. I'm learning about what works where we live. And
Sure.
that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real gift.
That's right. So what were you doing this morning?
Well, my first trip this morning was over to King's Kids, which is a preschool that's located at Piedmont Agency on Aging. And 3 of my colleagues and I put on a class for 18 3- and 4-year-olds, and we
And
taught
you're
them.
still standing.
No, I'm seated right now.
right.
I was going to say, and we had a blast. These kids were fantastic, and when you see a 3- and a 4-year-old get into a heated discussion about what is recycling and how is that going to impact the earth, then you know they're really into it. We love seeing them outside, and we love working with them outside as well. We work with other preschools and elementary schools and middle schools and the rest, but it's always fun with the little tiny ones, because they, it's the first time they held a worm in their hand. That's next month is going to be worms, the gardener's tool. And I love it that first time they hold a worm and they realize that bumblebees aren't bad. They're pollinators. What's a pollinator? And then to do it. So there's just so many ways to make it fun and
I
exciting
think
again.
The fun thing is you're influencing
Yes.
young people.
Yes.
I mean, so you can see the future right there in front of you.
Right. And I have a lot of faith in the future. I have a lot of faith. I think more than anything, they just need to get their hands dirty. It's like the rest of us.
Yeah.
We just need to get our hands dirty and realize
Plant
that
the seed of connection.
it does. It does. They may not recall that lesson for another 10 years, but I am sure they will. I always go in and start whatever class, however old they are. What are the 4 things that plants need? What are the 4 things that plants need, Anne? Do you know?
I don't know. Soil and
There's
air.
one. There's
and
2.
air and bugs. I don't know. Well,
keep
yes,
going, keep going.
I don't know. Rain, or
Water,
water. Yes.
and
I don't know. What else do they need? Food?
A big
Food.
ball of fire.
The sun?
Yes.
sun. Yes,
the sun.
okay.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
you'll probably never forget that at
No,
this
I
point.
won't. I'll be talking about it tomorrow morning. There you go.
So when people say, "Oh, my plant just doesn't work. I have all this sun," I said, "Well, there are such things as perennial shade gardens
Right.
that do a lot better." I was looking at my hostas on the way out just to come here, and I thought, "Oh no! Ever since Helene, much of the shading in my garden has really changed."
Because of trees losing
Because
trees.
trees, yeah. If you lose an 85-foot China berry, it doesn't
Yeah.
cast as big of a shadow it has. So after teaching about Earth Day, that was fun. Then I did have to go in, and I'm working on, I call this the Charlie Brown plants. It's like a little like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. We have some of those leftover seed trays where they just didn't make it into
Right.
it, and I keep thinking, I think I can bring that back. And so
You're trying to breathe life into
just
it.
a
yes.
little bit, just a little bit. So I had to pot up that. We do this from seeds to pots to potting up to, and then into the big ones. And that's the fun part of getting ready for the plant sale, I think, on it. So I did all of that.
So now you have these plant sales, and I guess for those that are interested in doing some planting, you could do what makes it okay. Why is it more better to buy at the plant sales than your big box stores? I said it.
That's okay. No, that's all right. In fact, sometimes we go to the big box to get our soil if we're looking for a
Right.
yes, a large quantity. The thing is to remember, it's really going to be based on what it is that you're looking for in your home, in your garden. I would say that there's room for all of the plant sales that are out there. The fact is, the big box prices have gone up pretty high, and we certainly don't have high prices like that on it. But what we offer and what we work toward are fulfilling the needs of our environment right now. And I would say there's nothing more important right now than supporting pollinators and looking at native plants and looking at what I call the really hard to find plants that are out there that are unusual, that offer something that's a mix that can go in. It's not just all zinnias and roses. It really isn't. That can get a little boring. I think I would just invite people who love to garden to come and see how different you can make your garden and how you can improve things like pollinator access and support. These are all important things today. If we didn't have pollinators, bees and bats and birds and all of the other insects that pollinate all of our different flowers and vegetables, we couldn't eat.
Right.
We couldn't eat. I mean, there would just be no way to be able to support our community.
And that's a problem, isn't it? Though,
Yes.
because honeybees and this type of thing are
Under
in trouble.
attack.
Yeah,
They
under
are
attack. And
very
what we-
serious.
We're using lots of chemicals. We're destroying their habitat. They're getting punched every direction, and so it's good to use your yard to kind of support.
It
some of
is.
these insects.
And some people wonder why they have a bird feeder out and they keep waiting for the birds to show up, and they don't. And they don't realize that it's everything else that they're doing in the garden that's causing those birds to not want to show up. If they are using a lot of chemicals, if they are putting it along their path, if they are using the kind of, call it combination of kill the grass and grow the grass at the same time,
Right.
birds are pretty savvy about that. They'll go somewhere else. I have one family of cardinals that have been there for 20 years. We're 24 years now in our house, and it's a very old, big old house, but that same family has continued to be right outside my kitchen. And so I know that the things I'm doing are what they appreciate, and that's more than anything, leaving them alone, but making sure they have access to water and making sure that I have a lot of great flowers that they can be involved in. I've even had hummingbirds show up in my salvia and they're not migrating. These are the ones that are showing up, and they come to live there.
Yeah, right. Well, I was going to bring up hummingbirds because I had a friend that all her hummingbirds left at one point. And I mean, she attributed it to the sugar water or whatever, that it wasn't, something was wrong with it. She wasn't changing it. She was out of town. She left it for somebody else to do. And she kind of attributes it to that. But it's taken her years because she said you still have dozens of them coming to those feeders and everything.
Yeah, and plants you don't have to refresh. They just provide the nectar
Right.
Yeah.
free of charge. So,
Right.
yeah, you just plant hummingbird-friendly plants, and then you don't have to worry about changing out your nectar.
And honestly, if they've got a flower here and they've got a pot of sugar water over here, they're going to go for the flower. They're going to go for the flower. And the good news is that we've got all kinds of pollinator-friendly flowers that we've got in our plant sale. And most of these are grown by the master gardeners themselves. We have one lady who is also was a Master Gardener of the Year in 2019, Barbara Wells, and I just worship her because she is absolutely the most phenomenal gardener, especially for flowers, that I have ever met in my entire life. And she's bringing 700 plants to the plant sale. Yes,
Yeah,
she's
has a
bringing
corner
them.
of the plant sale. That's
She has a
her.
corner that's hers.
We call it the decorator corner. It is a place you cannot find these anywhere else. So it's just, you'll see the people lining up when you come. They want to come early because they know that Barbara's
sell
will
out?
be out. It will. No question about it. Every single one. Total of 700 plants, but maybe 70 to 80 different types. And it's just wonderful to see. And all the master gardeners, we have to show up too. And
Well, that's what's special about the plants at this particular sale is that they're curated basically by master gardeners,
Right.
people that love gardening
Yes.
and love plants, and
Right.
Ones that
and
you know
garden
that are going to
here.
do good for this area, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the most important thing. And I mean, we've got lots of lists that we can share with people as they come in. If they're looking for deer-resistant plants, or they're looking for pollinator-friendly plants, or they want native plants, and then we can tell them what among all of the plants would be good for them to take a look at. And in fact, this year we decided to turn the pink into Think Pink, Think Native. So we're putting a pink stake in each of the pots that represent a native plant. And what would make native important? I mean, I just want you to think, these are plants that have been in our neighborhood for millennia. In other words, decades and decades and decades.
What kind of plants are native plants?
Well, I'll just have to tell you that.
Yeah, I
I got
guess
this
you
whole
will.
list, yes. Well, let me give you an example of what isn't a native plant. And
Okay.
I wrote this down because we ran into this a couple of years ago. Milkweed is one of those weeds that everybody kind of says, oh, that's by the side of the road. But it's also the only place that monarch butterflies will lay their eggs. They
Right.
won't lay them anywhere else. So if you don't have milkweed in your backyard, you're not going to get a monarch. You'll get lots of other different types of
Well, maybe
moths
visit,
and
but
all.
they're not going to raise their young.
They're not going to raise their young there, right?
Do they actually raise them now, Stephanie? Come on. Tell me about this.
Burping the little caterpillar.
Yeah, right.
Oh, they're so pretty. They're black and yellow, and they're so pretty. Well, there's a couple years ago we got in it's called Gomphocarpa carpus. Gomphocarpus is the Latin name of it, but it's actually hairy balls milkweed. That's what it's called, and it's an interesting looking plant. It has these little hairy balls all over it. We had them
Little hairy balls. all
little
over it.
Fruit
hairy
and
balls.
structures. Like
Yeah,
a
just like
spear,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spiky spear.
I know it. Asclepias was the common milkweed. Now that's the part that's
But
native.
is that it is native?
No, hairy
okay.
balls is not. And we had it up, and we got.
I knew that hairy balls would not be native.
Nope. You have to know that. Anyway, we had put it up into a couple of different pollinator gardens, and we got lots of monarchs. But then, within a year, we heard from the Native Plant Society and a variety of others that it had really disrupted the monarch path when they go back to their home, so their migration path suddenly changed, the monarchs would stop and stay. And they may stay in a place that's not good.
They linger too long.
Way too long. They need to keep going. And so we realized that we had done it. We had done it by putting a non-native plant that's so important on it.
Wow.
So that's why something that might be beautiful and look gorgeous, if your goal is to support a particular activity, and in this case it's monarch migration, then you really need to think about native.
So is the milkweed is not native? Is that what you're saying?
Not
one
all
species.
not all milkweed,
Not all milkweed is created the same.
We've
Right.
got swamp and Mexican milkweed, and those are all native.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
all
We have
native.
about a dozen that you could
Yes.
possibly find in South Carolina.
Right, exactly. But some of the others, we're actually when you come to the plant sale, you'll look for a little pink tag that's in it, and that will be it. But things like echinacea, or coneflower, or yarrow, we've got all the yarrows on it. Salvia, we've got mint, we've got bee balm, we've got baptisia, beautyberry, basket flowers, coral bells that goes on, and then I have another 25 down here. And
Oh,
those
okay.
are all.
We don't have,
Yeah,
okay.
we have tons of them that
So
will be
South
there.
Carolina did have a lot of local flowers,
Yes.
native flowers.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was especially the upstate. The upstate was just a massive plain. It was a massive plain, not a lot of trees at that time. Most people think of it as covered with trees, but in fact it was an open prairie. And that open prairie had lots of flowers and had lots of pollinator-friendly types of plants within it.
Well, yeah, and then you have to think our state is very diverse too in
Yes.
ecosystems. So we've got mountains, we've got Piedmont, we've got sandhills, and we got coastal areas. So something that's native to the state may not be the best for our area if it's like a coastal plant or something like that.
Correct.
So
Right.
you still have to think local.
That's right. And that's why we try to look at the I'll just call it the area around it, the neighborhood native, as opposed to it. The fact of the matter is, if you water a plant in Greenwood, South Carolina, it's probably going to be in a very clay soil, and it holds a lot of it, but it also is very tough to break up. But if you water it in a place like Beaufort or Charleston, it's sand, and things grow fast, and but the water comes and then goes right away. Very different in a very small state.
Well, when you're looking at these things, I would be curious. I wonder, is anybody doing the South Carolina 250, for example? Anybody doing anything on native plants? Do you know?
Well, we had lunch and learn on native plants this last week. We support what we do with the funds that we raise is to create educational opportunities for not only master gardeners. We provide scholarships for master gardeners who have a need for assistance on it. But we also try to do as many educational programs as possible throughout the year. We're going to have Tom Bruce who knows Mr. Daylily, as it were. He'll be here on the 14th talking about deer resistant. But the idea of native plants and how they work, we have had the 96, the Star Fort, in several times to make presentations about the kinds of colonial flowers and herbs that were grown in the area that were native plants in this area.
Well, that would go along, I would presume, with the 250.
Absolutely.
With the 250.
Absolutely. Yes, and we're going to help them redo their native plant herbal garden over at the park.
That's
so
cool.
that's one of the things that we're looking forward to doing.
That's cool. Well, now, the plant sale that you've been talking about, that one is behind the Piedmont Agency on Aging, correct?
It is. It's 808 South Emerald Road, but if you remember where Meals on Wheels are located, it's located behind that building. You'll see a greenhouse, and that is where the plant sale will take place, and it'll be on Saturday from 9 until 2. Saturday, the 18th of April, 9 until 2.
9 until 2.
Right.
Okay.
And it's just down the hill from where Piedmont Tech is having their plant sale. So it's a good place to hit two different plant sales at once.
Piedmont Tech is doing theirs from 8 to 2, right?
Right,
Yeah, they're
right.
trying to get the jump on you, right?
That's
Well,
good. That's all right. They can start there. Then
They have
they
no problems with
different
that.
selections.
They do.
They
And
have
they-
a lot of annuals.
Right.
They do annuals and they do a lot of veggies, and we'll do a lot of. We've got perennials, we've got shade perennials, we've got sun perennials. We have a lot of annuals. We've always had the request for that. Shrubs. We've got beyond that, and a lot of Barbara's bringing vines, shade perennials, daylilies, cannas, bearded iris. The list goes on. And the other thing is we'll have Ask a Master Gardener table present there too. So there'll be people who can actually answer a question for you while you're sitting there. Maybe your question's not about what you're going to buy, but your question is about a problem in your garden where something's just not growing very well. Yeah. And, you know, we even have classes on things like how to build a rain garden. If you have a lot of runoff from your house, how to build something that operates in a wet, boggy area, even if it's right next to your sun garden. But that's our kind of
I think
land.
I think a lot of people don't understand all the things that y'all do, right? And I mean, you will advise people. You won't come in and do all the work for them, but you will advise them. Is that right, Stephanie?
That's right. So they're educators. And so they are teaching you how, telling you why, helping you make a decision, but they're not a free labor source. Yeah.
Right. I understand, but I think people need to understand that. Yes,
I think that's important. Thank you for bringing that up, Anne, because what we've also realized that if we do it, you don't own it.
Right.
So, I mean, the worst thing is to go in and do something and get it all cleaned up and get it all set and then come back in 2 months and everything's dead.
Right.
That's the worst. And we've seen that again and again. So we early on said, no, the ownership has to remain with the organization who requested the assistance. And we don't mind coming back, top it up, what's necessary. I also had a wonderful opportunity to work with the Edgewood Middle School in 96. And every year we take a full day with their sixth graders and we go through everything to do with soil and planting, the variables in it, how to do it, get past your hands are getting dirty and get into how can I grow food. They had a really tough time during Helene. They were a real food desert in that area, which was too bad. And so the school system and HR, and certainly the HR person that I worked with, said the best thing they felt they could do is to teach and train kids on how to become self-sufficient, to create their own. And it's just been a real hit. So I think more schools and more families are starting to see that they need to make sure that their kids have enough understanding to be able to address issues like when I can't get to a grocery store because there's no electricity, then what do I do? How am I going to take care of my family?
Well, I think it's real important for kids to understand that the food actually doesn't come from the grocery store. How about that for starters?
There you go.
You have to grow it yourself. I was out at G. Frank Russell last week. They were doing their open house, and I was doing a tour. And they've got a greenhouse over there. And, I think there's such great opportunities for everybody. And right now is just a beautiful time of the year to do it. When it gets in the midsummer, it gets pretty darn hot to do this. But right now it's beautiful. You've got a lot more hours, morning and evening.
It just reminded me one thing about you had asked about big boxes on that. I just wanted to, this was a tip that I thought, gosh, I've got to be sure to say this. If you go to a big box this weekend and buy all these flowers that are in bloom, it's okay if it's an annual. But if it's a perennial, don't buy it. Because they only go once. They only blossom once on it, and it's going to be tough for you to be able to get it into your garden before it starts to wither. So,
that's a good point.
And it's
unless you get like knockout roses or azaleas.
There's some that are like all season bloomers,
but only some. Only some.
Yeah.
So
and in the big box stores, it's more of a nationwide selection of plants, and it's not as likely that they're all very well suited to our area.
Correct.
Right.
There's some that are very well suited.
Absolutely.
Not all.
Right.
But I think it's kind of that mix and knowing what you want to do with it.
If you're a big box store, if you go to those stores, you buy them already. They look beautiful. Then what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to go back and buy more. right? I mean, for the next season when they're getting ready to bloom, right, and everything.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw the most beautiful flowers, and this came from one of our members who's out at Wesley Commons, and she grows Sweet William, it's dianthus, from seed every year.
Oh.
And they are gorgeous. They are just gorgeous. And so I helped her bring them in, and we set them up on it. But stop and think about it. I mean, how much would it cost you to buy a gallon with the dianthus Sweet Williams all over it when you could buy a packet of seeds and raise them yourselves? And that's what she loves about doing this.
That brings up an interesting point, though, because so many people come, oh, the seeds are so expensive, right? I mean, people do say that. I hear that all the time. The seeds are so expensive. But if you can wait, if you are a patient person, you can grow them. And, of course, at the library, they have that seed, what is it called?
Seed
library.
Seed library. And they have lots of varieties of seeds there.
Yeah, you can visit them and check out packets for free, and you don't have to bring anything back, like a book, like when you bring the book back or whatever. Then once you check out a packet, it's yours to do what you need to.
And don't you get up to 5 for every visit on it?
Now, one of the things that because they always talk about it's good for this season. Are they really seeds only good for one season?
No, most seeds are very good for several years. They like to be kept cool and dry,
right.
So you don't want to keep it in the back of your pickup truck or whatever.
No.
Where it will get moist, humid, hot, or whatever,
right.
Frozen. That's not the ideal situation, but if you can keep them cool and dry, most species will last several years.
Okay, because I know like when they always when they're in the seed catalogs and everything, new for this season, better plant them quick. I mean, you're like, come on now, do you really have to do that? Hey, we're here with Stephanie Turner and Missy Lowery. We're talking gardening, in case you didn't guess. And Missy is a master gardener, and Stephanie is our Greenwood County Extension Clemson with Clemson University. Wealth of knowledge sitting across from me here at the desk right here on WCRS. We are Facebook Live. We are here on the radio. Let me tell you, if you got a question, we might have some time for it. So 864-332-9355. If you're there on Facebook, say hello to us or ask a question right here on Facebook too. But 864-332-9355. That would be the number to be able to get in touch with us and let us know what's going on. So, there you go. This is, we are just looking forward to finding out more. This is a big planting week. Now, how do you decide which weekend is the best planting weekend, Stephanie?
Oh, that is very hard. Yes, because this year we probably could have had it last weekend.
Right.
People would have been frost-free. But other years we have frost all into
We did.
April.
We did. And it was, if you look at the Old Farmer's Almanac,
Do you believe in that?
Absolutely.
Seriously?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. You have to pay attention to it. Actually, it told us that April 9th was going to be close to a freeze. And so we moved all of our things that were outside in and under. And it did get down to 40. And for a tender plant, that is too low. You want to make sure that you've got that. But it's a wonderful source of information. We always try to make the plant sale after the frost finishes because you really and I talk to a lot of gardeners all over Lawrence, all over here, and they are fine with that. They're fine with waiting, especially for their vegetables.
Right.
Now, it's not going to hurt some of the other plants as much, but if you really depend on getting those vegetables and you've already raised them to a point where you want to put them outside, pay attention to when you put them outside, because you may have to do something. This year, I always provide this little simple steps for transplantation, and then the second half of it is frost protection. But I think I'm going to cut the frost protection off.
We don't need
it. Right.
Or they can keep it for next year.
That's right. Who knows? Absolutely.
And that's the thing when you go to the big box stores is they've already got these plants coming in, and I was on the radio. You better wait, right? Because people were just jumping in and buying this stuff. I saw somebody pushing a cart out. I said, do you think these things are going to live? I don't know, but I'm planting them anyways. I'm like, okay.
Oh, it really depends. And of course, it depends on if you're doing it in a raised bed or you're doing it in the soil. So many other things go into it as
If you're
well.
gonna plant a container that you can pull in the garage real quick.
That's right. That's right.
One thing, but
And then the other side to it too is if you look at perennials, there are a lot of perennials you can choose that don't look bad throughout the fall, and then don't look bad even over winter. And my dianthus looked great all winter long for all of what we saw, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, they started coming back in bloom, and I loved it. It was really gorgeous on it.
That's cool.
So there's lots of things that you can do, but go to the master gardener, ask a master gardener table, ask those questions. Where can I get some color for different parts of the year? You know, those things that come up in the fall. What do I have, and what kind of shrub would be very good that would give me some different color during the wintertime? How can I add it as a part of my foundation planting? What else do I need to have on it? So even if you just want to have a good conversation about gardens, you'll have a lot of people that want to have that too.
Now, should you bring pictures? That's what I was just going to
Bring
ask.
your pictures.
bring your pictures. What is this?
That's right. That's right. How do I do with it?
Yeah.
And I always say, be sure to bring your phone with you because sometimes you may not recognize something. It's going to be something that's unusual that you'll never find at the big box store.
Sure.
And you want to see what it's going to grow up to be. You want to see, I'm working on that right now. How many pictures can I put? What is this going to be? You know, is it going, we have some lovely sunflowers, and some of them are going to be 3 to 5 feet tall, and some of them are going to be 6 to 8 feet tall. So
Right.
you do need to know by the specific type of plant what its parameters are. How close can you plant it together? But that's the fun part, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but then you got to watch out. You can't be a plant collector because
No,
you go
that's
to this
true.
thing and you're like, ooh, I want that, and you bring it home, and if you're like me, it sits on your driveway and languishes. Well, you're like, okay, I got to find a place in the yard where this plant will be good and happy. Instead of thinking, okay, I have these places where I need to plant. What plants will fit there?
That's right.
Yeah.
And we do sell in 6-packs, so that's the other way to do it because you don't want to just plant a single one.
Right.
You want to give it a little
Now,
room.
what kind of prices do we have?
Oh,
on
we
things?
probably have the best prices in town.
Okay, it's now been officially put out here on WCRS. The best prices in town at the Master Gardeners Plant Sale this Saturday.
Remember, our goal, we don't have to support any kind of marketing campaigns or anything of that nature. We try to make it affordable because more than anything at this point, we consider it absolutely essential that every single one of these plants that we've planted, grown nurtured, and the rest goes into the ground. And we mean into your garden, not into the trash. So that we'd never do that anyway. But nonetheless, that we want to make it as affordable as possible for people to be able to get some of these beautiful pollinator native
We
plants.
want people to be successful in their
Yes,
garden.
Sure.
absolutely.
So, do you ever have a party where people can bring back and show how well their plants have done over the season? Maybe you should do something.
I
That's a
think
good
that's a
idea.
great idea. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. I
fall
like that a
Send
lot.
pictures to their Facebook page.
You know, that's right.
great.
That would be even better.
So there you go. You need to
Yeah.
set up something. So show us how your plant grows, right? And give them
Yeah.
a card or something so they can upload the picture.
Yeah, love it.
Great
Yeah.
idea. I love it. We're updating our website, and this might be a terrific thing for us to put on our new website. It's going to come out on May 1st. So
Okay. Well,
that's
I
wonderful.
think you ought to do something like that so that.
What a
and-
creative thought, Ann.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fun. All right. So now the farmers market is open this weekend. Is that right?
Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
And that's usually, they have an assortment of things, so a bunch of different vendors that'll come there. But that's usually where I say if people want to try to look for their tomato, pepper plants, that sort of thing, their herbs, cucumber plants, there's usually a really good selection there. And most of the folks that are selling the plants there are people that actually grow those vegetables, for producing to the market.
Right.
So you know that they've chosen
good stuff,
varieties
right,
that
yeah.
work for us in our area. Yeah.
Now, what time is that sale?
Now let's see. I think I sent it to you, and I don't remember now.
Okay,
But it
all
is
right.
on Friday and Saturday, and so
Here we
there
go.
you
The spring
got it.
Friday, the 17th, 10 to 2. Saturday, the 18th, 8 to 1.
Yeah. So
bad weather, which I don't think we're going to have. They had makeup days, but flowers, vegetables, herbs, garden crafts at the Greenwood County Farmers Market. So that is this weekend too. So like we were discussing, they're having the pottery sale and earth to art sale.
Earth into Art is at the Art Center, and they're doing a little bit of Earth Day celebration too in the courtyard on Saturday. So
that's
good.
cool. Then Piedmont Tech is having their carnival with the cars and all this. I'm telling you what, you just need to get out there and have a good time. Now, let me ask you something though. If you buy plants, should you leave them in the car?
No. Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't do that. So
Yeah.
go bring your plants home and then go party at the carnival.
Right. And I have to tell you that's why we have so many people that show up early. So they will be there. They want to get it. You don't want them to get burned in the car. No. They just wilt, they will cook. So come in. It doesn't take you that long to walk in this area, to pick them out. And what you'll find is that the selection at the very opening is really terrific. Mm-hmm. If you wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to be thinner, much thinner. But it's, there's so many things that are right around there. And especially with two plant sales right next door to each other, you may find one is better for vegetables. I will say we will have vegetables and we will have herbs, but many of our herbs people really plant for purposes of pollinators and leaving them in and having them go into flower. Yeah. So it's not all just about, like African blue basil is one of the things you'll never see at the big box store.
African blue basil.
You can eat it, true, and it tastes like basil, but it's like bee honey. I mean, the
bee honey.
Bee honey.
It's bee magnet.
Bee magnet. It just, when you see them on a shrub, they're just, you can hear the buzzing in the air. I know, by far. They love it. They love it. They love it. You won't see that in a big box store.
Well, I think that's cool. I think that is really cool. I'm going to try to get out there. I do a show. It starts at 9:30, so I'm going to have to try to get out there early and then get back and hope the music will play a little bit, but I may try to get out there for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, just wave at me and I will escort you. I can't let you buy anything before 9 o'clock, but I'll escort you around.
Okay, all right.
We'll be there setting up still.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds great. All right, so Stephanie, we got some cool programs coming up though too, right?
Yes,
the
we
Master
do.
Gardeners. The Clemson Extension.
The Lunch and Learns have been put on by the Master Gardeners, and so we have a group that have created this slate of speakers. So we have a monthly program. Our next one is May 5th. It's on irrigation.
Right.
And it says Lunch and Learn. It's bring your own lunch or snack.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
over
they're
the
not
lunch
providing
break.
lunch.
No.
Yeah. Not to be confused, but this one will be on irrigation, on drip irrigation. And so very appropriate since we're in the middle of a drought.
Right.
That's the best way to get water to your plants and actually conserve water in the process and get them just what they need. So we'll have Brian Smith he's our ag engineer agent in Lawrence. He's going to come.
Okay.
He's great.
And he is fabulous.
Yes.
You would not think an irrigation presentation would be so thoroughly entertaining, but he is very entertaining.
Because he's entertaining,
He
right?
is entertaining,
Right.
and he presents the material in a very basic, understandable way. And also brings examples of the equipment so that you can touch and feel and see how it works.
Right.
So
Well, that's cool.
That'll be really, really good. And then we have a slate of programs, throughout the rest of the year. So I think what's June.
Buzzing with Life, a tour of Greenwood's pollinator paradise.
So that's not going to be in our conference room at the office. That's going to be out in Uptown.
Well, that'll be
Greenwood.
down during the Flower Festival too, won't it?
Yes. That's the week of the Flower Festival, right after the main weekend.
Right.
So that'll be good. A little walk through the garden.
Now, you're also, coming up here real soon is going to be the Festival of Flowers. And so are you going to do your program like you've done in the past during the Festival of Flowers?
Yeah, this is another year of the Garden Symposium, but it's we've amped it up this year, so I'm really excited. We're moving the venue to Piedmont Tech. So we can have concurrent sessions.
I understand Wesley Commons is doing some building or additions or stuff, and that's why it had to move.
Yes, they've been our wonderful host, and actually they're still sponsoring everything, but we'll have an extra room at Piedmont Tech right next door, so we'll be able to you can choose from 2 different sessions. at each
So
hour.
expanding, yeah.
So we'll have more speakers, and that way you'll have a little bit more of a choice to see, you know, what your preference is in speaker for that hour period or whatever. But it's an all-day event, and we're gonna wrap it up with some workshops too, where you can get some hands-on on how to propagate plants, or you can choose a plant problem boot camp. So
Boot camp.
Yeah.
All right.
so
Well, yeah. So it's going to be an interesting program. Now, can people register for that yet, or?
all the information and the speakers are there as a tease right now.
Okay.
And the tickets are coming soon. They should be available by the end of this week, and so you can go to scfestivalflowers.org and look at the event page and get a feel for what we're doing.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. And then July 14th, the magic of the moon garden, nighttime beauty in bloom. That sounds really fascinating. That sounds like the Addams Family. Remember when they used to do moon bathing?
Yes.
They'd go out there with the reflector, and
Yes.
Morticia
Yes.
would sit out there. Yes. So tell me about this. The
I think
magic
this
of
is
the moon
Ray,
garden.
isn't it? Ray
No,
Johnson?
it's Lisa.
Lisa Heller is
Yes.
going to do it. Okay.
So this is a topic she was interested in herself, and that's what's fun about my master gardeners, I call them.
Right. Yes.
We
They
are your
mine.
master gardener. Yes.
But that's what's fun about it, because I hope they find what they're passionate about and then share that, because that's
Right.
so easy to teach somebody something that you're interested in.
Right.
And so moon gardening, you know, what flowers at night, and there's lots of pollinators that are very active at night.
You know,
Really?
moths are absolutely one of the largest contingency of pollinators, essentially. And the only thing that spoils it is when somebody in the neighborhood leaves a light on all night. That just ruins it. But what you're looking at then is, what is it that moths need to see by way of moonlight reflection? And how can you make that beautiful as well as very profitable for the moths who need to come in and do it?
Profitable for the moths. I like that.
Bats are also major pollinators.
Bats are?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Okay. And then if lightning bugs, for sure. They go up in the trees too. So it's an opportunity to see that your garden has many different elements to it, many sides to it.
Oh yeah, you don't think about what's
No.
going on at night in your garden, except for
No,
maybe
just the deer.
the deer or the armadillo, maybe.
Right, yes, yes.
Yes, those blooms that are really
yeah.
fragrant and that are white in color and tubular shaped tend to
Right.
be really attractive to
Yeah.
moths.
Wow.
And so
They
she'll
are.
be talking about those different plants that you can use.
Wow, that's cool.
Besides besides the lunch and learns, the Master Gardeners also underwrites, I'll call it community education. We had Jinx Farmer in February, and it was a wonderful evening with him. He was the designer of 2 massive gardens in the Low Country area, but he was very funny, an excellent writer, and we underwrote that and opened it free to the public. We're going to do the same thing with Tom this time, and it's so important for us to have a good speaker about deer-resistant gardening. He's Mr. Daylily, and I think that will be a lovely.
Daylilies and deer don't get along?
Let's say it this way: hostas and daylilies kind of fit into a candy area
A candy
for
area?
deers.
They love it.
Yeah.
Oh, they do love it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we've got that coming up on May 14th. And so throughout the year, we're going to try to have more speakers, recognizable speakers that people can join us, because we do this for the Master Gardeners, but we want to make it free and open to the public as well. And we invite you to come and
Those
join
are
us
usually evening.
in the evening.
Programs.
Right.
So, and usually, do you have them at the library? Or
No, we've
you
had
have
it
them at
Rock
Shep-
Pres- right.
Shepherd.
Big, need a big room
Need a
for
big room.
those.
Right.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah. So, well, that's cool. Well, you know, I think that these are so many things, and everybody is out now. How can people pay for this? Do you take credit cards? How do people have to pay?
We
for
do.
things?
We take credit cards and we take cash.
Okay.
Right, both.
Okay.
And again, the problem will be, how do you stop from taking more?
So, do you ever tell somebody you have too many plants?
No, never. And it's only because our master gardeners are exactly the same way. There's
Do y'all get to go through and buy first?
well,
Yeah, I guess
I don't
so.
know. We're gonna well, let's put it this way: we maybe, but we'll see. No, I don't. No. I want to be honest about that. Certainly, the people who are working it and working hard and have grown it and the rest, because remember, not all of these are just things that we've grown together as a group, seeds and all the way up. But they are the exact things that people have grown in their own yard, their own little babies. They've either divided them, or they've taken a cutting and grown it from that, or they've taken seeds and raised it, and they want to share it with everybody. They just love it. I mean, it's what
And
they do.
I think that if nothing else, people should, if you have children or grandchildren, let them grow something.
Yes.
Something.
Yes.
I remember when I was, 7, 8, something like that, we planted zinnias, and it was my garden, and I had to take care of it, and it wasn't that big, but I was very proud when those, and of course zinnias grow real easy, and I felt so accomplished. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you were accomplished. I mean,
Right.
that really is. And it's a funny thing about plants. I mean, they really want to live. It's an astonishing thing. They really do. They want to live, and they grow everywhere, don't they? Well, weeds, definitely. But, I mean, that's the same way with plants.
Except for houseplants, they're jerks.
They're awful. I agree. There are two different kinds of master gardeners, those that work inside and those that work
So,
outside.
Missy, what are you? Do you have any house plants?
I have a few, but I have to tell you, my peace lily is probably the only one.
Languishing?
Yeah, no.
it's
I
the
have
only one
7
that's
of them.
tough.
It's
Okay,
the only
good.
one I learned how to divide correctly on it. And my citronella looked real bad today, but that's all right. We'll get some more. And I've got that giant aloe, and it's going out in the back porch tomorrow. That's all there is
Now,
to it.
here's another question for you. People talk about playing music for plants, talking to plants. What do you think, Missy? Does it make a difference?
What I will say, remember the 4 things that you have to have. Well, air was one of them. I think they need space. And I think that's more important than if you have a lot of music. I think if you blasted them, the
I'm talking
open.
like classical.
That's
nice,
lovely. Doesn't it always make everything better?
I don't know. Some people wouldn't think so, but there's a lot of discussion about whether music makes a difference. A lot of people like to talk to their plants.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Is
wrong
that
with that at all.
But that's probably a very strong myth.
I don't think
yeah.
I've ever seen a scientific study that proves it one way or the other. But think of it this way. If you like the music and you like the companionship of that plant, you're probably going to do a better job of taking care of it.
If you're paying attention enough to play it music, then you'll notice that it's dry. Maybe.
Or if some little bug has gotten on it and has decided it's going to spin a web.
Eat me, Seymour.
Eat me, Seymour, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, that was a good show, and that plant just kept growing and eating. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Amen.
All right. Well, listen, this has been an absolute delight to have you all here. Stephanie, is there anything else you want to add to what we've discussed here today?
I also just want to invite people to Erskine on May 16th. It's a Saturday, and so
Now,
they're
what
gonna do
was you
their-
were saying that was really
That's
special
a flower
about
show,
that? Yes.
flower and garden show. And we will have Ask a Master Gardener table. Clemson Extension will be out there presenting on a few different topics.
And,
one of our master gardeners will talk
You
about
wrote here, and they have a
pollinators.
cool virtual arboretum.
Yeah, we
Yes.
just did a program with them last week and toured their arboretum. And what you can do is actually go to their website and find the arboretum and do the virtual tour. And it's got a map, interactive map. And so you can tour the different trees that are marked on their arboretum on your own around campus. And so they just established that last year, that arboretum. And so you can do that at the flower show, or you can do it just if you happen to have a day that you want to go walk around campus.
And that's at erskine.edu. So check that out. Missy, this has been quite entertaining and educational too. Anything else you'd like to extend to us as we finish up here?
I would just say that give consideration to joining us as a master gardener. I mean, first
Come
of
on,
all,
that's a lot of work.
no. Here's the good news about it: that the path you take, whether it's education, whether it's gardening, whether it's learning how to build topiaries, whether it's just reading about it and watching Monty Don on TV, all of those things are possible. So there's no one set course of action with it. But what it does do is it gives you such access to so many good resources and people who really open the door to what we need to do with our environment. I would just encourage it. Plus, a lot of good friendships.
Yeah,
a lot of good
camaraderie.
friendships. We spent a lot of time laughing and talking and a lot of service hours, but not because we have to.
Tell. Look what I killed.
Oh, that too. That happens. Got to find out why it died.
Now, are you starting a new Master Gardener class this year?
Yes, it'll start in August. This year it's going to be a daytime class because I rotate. We do the course once a year, and it's August through November, and it's a weekly class. So this year will be Monday mornings.
Monday mornings?
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
And so last year it was an evening class, and so I'll rotate morning and evening, based on, people's schedule. Some people need it morning, some people
Right.
need it evening. So
But after you finish the class, you're not a Master Gardener.
no, it takes 40 hours of volunteer service educating others to
Right.
earn, and you get basically a year and a half to accomplish that.
To accomplish that.
And believe me, it does not take very long to make 200 hours that's what I've been doing, as many others have as well. But it
200
doesn't.
hours?
Don't
I
need
thought you said
200.
440
Yeah.
hours.
40 hours. No, that's what I say. If you can do
She's
two.
just bragging.
Oh, let's put it this way. We have all kinds of ways in which you can get your service hours and your educational hours, and it's a lot of fun to do it.
Well, I can tell it's a lot of fun. I can tell it makes you very happy, Missy. Yeah, and I think this is terrific. Hope you will make it out to the Master Gardener sale. That is at the Piedmont Agency on Aging, right out there, right behind it. They have a big, right next to Piedmont Tech. You can start at Piedmont. Piedmont Tech starts at what, 8 o'clock?
We start at 9.
Start at 9. Go over there. Check it all out. Make some good choices. But don't miss this weekend for planting. That's right. Whether you go over there.
Thank you, Ann.
Go to the farmer's market or check out the big box ones. But whatever you do, and make an opportunity to go see the types of things that Master Gardeners grow, because they are, so many of them are native plants, and we need native plants. Mm-hmm. I do want to ask you about, what was it, the spider? Is it still attacking us?
It's coming, yes.
What was that spider you told me?
The Joro spider.
Oh, that's
yes.
ugly. Ugly.
It's big. It looks sort of like, if you're familiar with the riding spiders that we've seen that are native here.
Right.
It looks similar to that, but it'll make a larger, thicker web, and it's more of a yellow and gray stripe.
And what does it do?
It just is taking over this niche for these larger spiders, and so it's voracious, and it multiplies very quickly, and so it's a nuisance.
Has it eaten any humans yet?
No.
Not
Its
humans
bite,
yet.
Actually, its bite does not bother people. It's not very irritating, so that's not a concern.
Sure.
But it's just a nuisance because it makes a very strong, very big web, and so it covers, porches and
Ugh.
telephone lines, and you walk in the woods and you get stuck in it. You can't just easily.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's the biggest problem is ecological, though. Really, it's going to be a nuisance for us, and people are not going to like to walk into a big web with a big spider.
Right.
But it's also going to be, if there's so many of them, I can't see how that's not ecologically going to impact the other insect population.
Population.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you want to know more information, you've just had two great people with us here today. Stephanie Turner, she is with the Clemson Extension Agency. She is the Greenwood County Extension for Clemson University. And Missy Lowery is a Master Gardener. In fact, she is this year's Master Gardener of the Year. What an honor.
Oh, thank you. I was thrilled, and I was really humbled. The people chose me. I wanted to say thank you to all of them. I was elected to this by Master Gardeners, and it was
an
really
honor.
it
Yes,
really
it's
was.
not
Other
your
people,
peers.
Right, absolutely.
It's not a popularity contest. People actually look at it and say, who did the work, right?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I will never own up to being the world's best gardener, but I sure know a lot of them. world's best gardeners. And I invite you to come and meet some of them because we will have a number of them at the plant sale.
Well, that's
Really,
great.
truly wonderful gardeners.
So this is your opportunity, folks. Make it out there this Saturday at 9 a.m. Start lining up at 8:30. Yes, it's true. To see what's going on out there. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for being with us. I'll be back in the morning right here on WCRS. Penny will be running the show tomorrow. I'm taking the day off, so no worries at all. That is going to do it for us. We're going to drop the curtain, and we're going to play the music, and we're going to say goodnight, everybody. See you in the morning. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for coming on today.
It was a pleasure.
All right, let's play it.